You're listening to Money Talk on RTHK Radio 3.
It's 8:50 a.m. now, and it's time for our View From. And today we will take a look at Bitcoin with Bonnie Owl.
Bitcoin has evolved far beyond its origins as a speculative asset and is now transforming into a productive, yield-generating asset through innovations like staking and decentralized finance. Giorgia Pellizzari, Managing Director and Head of Custody at Hex Trust, joins us now to discuss how Bitcoin's role is changing and why institutions are taking notice. Welcome, Giorgia. It's good to have you on the show.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me, Bonnie.
Great. So first of all, tell us a little bit more about yourself and what your company does.
Hex Trust is a financial institution born in Hong Kong in 2018, focusing on digital assets. So we serve institutional clients that wish to incorporate digital assets and cryptocurrency into their day-to-day operations or into their treasury or portfolio. And we provide a range of financial services as well as infrastructure components to allow them to do so in a confident and compliant manner. I've joined the company 5 years ago, but I've been in cryptocurrencies and digital assets since 2017, so it's 16 actually. So it's been a while.
Perhaps now we can just jump into a bit more of the context into today's topic. How has institutional perception of Bitcoin evolved so far, and what's fueling its renewed momentum today?
That's an excellent question. If that's all right, I would like to start actually maybe touching quickly upon what Bitcoin is and why, which I actually think it's really why institutions are finally realizing, not only institutions, but also corporates and governments as well, are really realizing why Bitcoin, it may not be perfect, but it is extraordinary. So if you think about what is the only way that two individuals can transact with each other in a public, free, and this intermediate way, the only really medium right now is cash. I can give you 100 Hong Kong dollars right now. I cannot spend that twice, so the so-called issue of double spending is not there because I'm going to physically give you 100 Hong Kong dollars. And that is a public transaction. There is no name attached to that banknote. Nobody knows who we are. We just know and we agree that we want to transact. Now, if you think about the same use case, but over the internet, in a digital world, before Bitcoin, that wasn't possible. People may think, okay, I can send money to my friend over FPS or pay me, sure, but there is a bank behind. There is an infrastructure that is governed by a company behind that. Bitcoin was born on January 3rd, 2009, by its creator, which is still unknown today, whether it's a person or a group of individuals, but is known as Satoshi Nakamoto. He or she or they deployed code online, and that's how Bitcoin was created. Still today, nobody owns Bitcoin, and it's been designed in a way so that there is an incentive for participants in the network to keep the network secure and working, because the more they do so, the more Bitcoin they actually earn. More and more individuals and companies and institutions are realizing that a resilient, sort of inflation-resistant, non-debasing system, financial system, that has no owner and that cannot be turned off is such a powerful concept.
Rising attention and around corporates in terms of, adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. So, how did that even come about in the first place, and how are they managing it?
This came about in two ways. One, again, the role of Bitcoin has changed. That was early 2024 with the first Bitcoin ETF. By huge asset managers such as BlackRock, that has really helped, obviously, with the price sort of appreciation of Bitcoin. And companies, obviously, there have been some early adopters of these, Tesla, MicroStrategy, which today is called Strategy. But now more and more companies have realized, why would I be holding cash or cash derivatives that are inherently going to lose value? Whereas I could hold something that has a fixed supply. So Bitcoin can, at maximum, be 21 million of it in supply. Again, that has been designed in the system, so nobody can change that. Nobody can print more, which is a clear difference between our current cash system.
Right.
So that's number one. Number two, access. The deep liquidity of Bitcoin, the fact that companies such as Xtrust can offer not only the infrastructure but also the service of helping institutions to safely hold Bitcoin has really enabled these counterparties to come in and feel confident about doing it.
And is this the term custody comes into place?
Exactly. So let me maybe expand a little bit on that. Cryptocurrency or digital assets, they leverage cryptography in order to ensure that only the true owner of what is called a private key is actually able to transfer funds. So you can think of that a little bit as the password of your bank account, right? With that comes a lot of responsibility. If you lose your private key, if you misplace it, if you share it with somebody or the likes, basically you won't have anybody you can go to say, hey, I lost it, can I get it again? It's not like, that's a big difference with a bank. You lose your password, sure, they can maybe verify your identity and give you another one. That doesn't work like that in the world of cryptocurrency, unfortunately. But that is the other side of again, not having really any corporation, any system behind it. So what we do, we create these pieces of information, these so-called private keys. We create them on behalf of our clients, but we create them and keep them in such a way where, first of all, we never get to see those. And we help our clients basically to transact similarly to a bank, if you will. But we do it in such a way where our clients never actually get to see their private key. So we save them from themselves, if you will. Right. And at the same time, we have processes and procedures and infrastructure in place so that we ourselves are unable to ever see those pieces of information. So unlikely scenario where we wanted to take our clients' funds, we are not even able to do that.
What's the importance, or what is it that makes this a good thing for clients in general?
First of all, I would say our service is more perhaps targeted to institutions. Our focus at Xtrust is to build all those access controls, transaction policy rules, as well as the infrastructure itself, so that our clients that holds hundreds of millions of dollars with us, they know that when they need to move funds or execute any sort of action on those assets, which we perform all of that on behalf of our clients. You need a certain expertise in order to do that. You need certain infrastructure. So our clients, instead of going through the learning curve and building all of that themselves, they can just work with us. So we do it for them, but still having exposure to digital assets.
So looking at the bigger picture into a more regional perspective, how is Hong Kong and Singapore shaping institutional Bitcoin adoption in Asia?
You're asking the question from a perspective of Bitcoin, but I would say that the main concern of the regulator is to make sure that investors are protected when they deal with digital assets. And dealing with digital assets is such a broad term. If you look at, for example, so Singapore has always been quite at the forefront of coming out with progressive regulation around crypto in general. For example, as Xtrust, we are licensed in Singapore under the MAS for digital payment token custody. Singapore also regulates stablecoin. Hong Kong is recently announced their stablecoin bill. Hong Kong also plans to regulate custody finally. We have been dreaming of this day where finally Hong Kong will actually regulate custody of digital assets. So I would say more than Bitcoin specifically, both Hong Kong and Singapore are trying to protect investors and to set ground rules for businesses to thrive. So that the region can be positioned as a hub for digital asset adoption. I think Hong Kong and Singapore are really doing their best to sort of cement that reputation in Asia. And obviously, we're very happy to keep working towards that goal together.
Well, thank you so much for helping us understand a little bit more about the world of Bitcoin and how things have evolved over the years, especially from an institutional Bitcoin perspective. Thank you, Giorgia. And that is Giorgia Pellizzari, Managing Director and Head of Custody at Xtrust.